always start with basics, try to get a little rhythm together. And then if there's anything you want me to incorporate, let me know. And
all right, that sounds great. Cool. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Hey fellas, so this is Danny. He is one of Sean Strickland's coaches. He's actually cornered Sean for his last 3 fights. So while I was in town, Sean's just wanted to make sure I got all the work in that I needed. Said, Sam, you want to hit mitts? I said, yeah, okay. Because that's the way I am. I just always say yes. He said, all right, well, then I'm going to go talk to Danny, see if we can't set something up. So we talked, and he said, all right, let's do it. I'd never worked with him before, and so if I wander off camera here, it's my bad. But he was very good. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he wanted me to do, and he knew how to get me to do it. I guess this is the first time we'd ever worked together. He wasn't having me do anything crazy. I wasn't kicking at heads or any of that. Just a lot of countering and just keeping it real simple. A little footwork movement, try and get my pivots working real well. He had the opportunity to watch me spar Sean the other day too, so he kind of knew what he was working with. Speaking of sparring Sean the other day, I will be posting all the rounds I did with him. I'm just gonna do it after my fight, so please forgive me. I told y'all if I got to my 4,000 viewed hours, which I did, thanks to y'all for watching my videos, I would film myself sparring Sean. So I did, and he allowed me to do it, and he said, all right, you can post it if I win. So I'll be posting it here on Sunday. The Sunday after my fight, that is. Tomorrow, Sunday, or possibly today, Sunday, I think the 12th, I'm going to be sparring Chris Curtis. Chris and I have been buddies for a while, too. Chris and Sean are buddies because I introduced him years ago. Curtis actually lived with me for about 5 years, off and on, but more on than off. You know, his oldest son and his life is back in Ohio, so between fight camps, he would go back out in Ohio and take care of his family and all that, and then come out for fight camps. And Curtis, like me, we're the old school. We just fight as much as we can. We both understand we only make money if we fight, so we both do everything we can to make sure we're making money. Y'all know I have over 80 fights. It's crazy to think about it. And I could tell you there is one fight that I don't remember his name. Only one. And I think through the list, and it's a kickboxing fight. I call him Grippentrog, and I'm not sure that's his name. I even remember my amateur fights. It's crazy to think about. I have so much experience in this sport, and I was just a band nerd. I had no intention of being a fighter. I didn't know it was something I could do. I didn't know it was something anyone could do. Like, I had heard of Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, and that is my fighting inspiration. Between them and the Ninja Turtles. But once I figured out that it was something I can do, and apparently I have a knack for it, apparently for some damn reason I hit real hard, I just took a liking to it. Curtis is kind of the same way. Maybe not in the hitting hard sense, but when he found out that fighting was a thing he could do, he'd already had a boxing background. Curtis is one of the best boxers in the UFC. There's only a few people I would, consider on level or close to on level with him. Colby Covington would probably be one of them. Frankie Edgar is one of them. Conor McGregor's one of them. So just some of the bigger names in the UFC have that boxing skill. Curtis, for most of my time knowing him or living with him or him living with me, he fought at 170. Man, he's just so thick. He's in that weird spot where he's too short to be middleweight, but too big to be a welterweight. He is just that guy that you wish there was a 175, 165 weight class. So tomorrow, or today, whenever you're listening, this Sunday the 12th, I think it is, I'm going to be going to the Extreme Couture, and I'm going to be sparring Chris Curtis. I'm going to film that, and I'll be able to post that pretty well too. Curtis and I have always had good rounds. That there's only a few people that have ever dropped me due to a liver shot or a stomach shot. The list is Dan Henderson, Sean Strickland, and Chris Curtis. Dan and Sean got the liver. Curtis got the, I don't call it the solar plexus. He just knocked the air out of me. And he's done that a few times. I have a video somewhere. We were sparring at the UFC PI. This is before he was in the UFC. And I Superman punched him. Well, I Superman punched at him. He just counterhooked me like I was nothing. And I remember saying, well, that was supposed to land. And he said, yeah, not today. I mean, he just read every part of it and just countered it immediately. I thought when he fought Kelvin Gastelum that he won. I thought he won the fight. But 2, I thought it would be a much easier fight than it was. It turned out to be a pretty challenging endeavor. That headbutt that took place in round 1 was a tough one. But he seemed to have dealt with it, kinda. But the blood, I believe, changed the opinion of the judges. And that's unfortunate. The judges need to know blood does nothing to us. Blood, when I fought Carl Amasu in Bellator, it was at the time the bloodiest fight in Bellator's history. At the time, nobody had ever bled more. I didn't know I was bleeding. He cut me twice at the top of my head, which the doctor afterwards convinced me not to numb before he stapled. He just stapled and hurt like a son of a gun. But going back to the corner after round 1, I finally got up off the ground. I saw there's blood everywhere, and my thought was, man, I don't remember hitting him. At which point my corners told me, you didn't. He hit you, he cut you twice. And I said, oh. But anyways, blood does not matter and should not affect scoring. Swelling should. If there's a big old gash somewhere, maybe you could count that. But the actual blood, which now, because he got headbutted in round 1, he will be bleeding the rest of the fight, could affect every round. And I felt it did. And I don't think it should have. So my rounds with Strickland, the first day we just did 1. We did round 4, and then I finished my day going with Ian Kouture. He is so much bigger than I thought he was. He was on my list of people I wanted to call out, people I was sure I was going to fight, and then it just didn't happen. And I finally got to spar with him, and I hit him pretty good. And old boy took it seriously. Old boy he picked up his pace after I put a little, 3-punch combo on him, landing pretty good. He started spinning at me. He landed this spinning back fist. And had he not pulled it, he put it on my chest, not my face. Had he decided to hit me in the face, he would have hit me in the face, and he would have killed me. I mean, it was everything he had into this spinning elbow. Hit me in the chest, and I felt it, and I kind of felt I don't think he speaks much English, which I did not know until after the round, because I talk a lot when I spar. So I was talking the whole time, and he just looked at me like, what? But he threw that elbow, and he looked at me like, yeah, are you okay? Did that hurt? And I just, whatever, keep going. It was a lot of fun sparring him. I would like to do it again now that I know he's got a good pace to him. And Strickland told me, he said, just so you know, this guy spars hard. He said some days he'll spar a little less hard, but I don't suspect that's gonna be today. So Strickland warned me. He said, this kid's gonna come out and he's gonna try and kill you. It was fun sparring him. I sparred a bunch of other guys. I sparred this pad holder, Danny. Had a good round with him. He's one of those guys that if you're fighting in the pocket, he can kick over your shoulder. It's a crazy talent to have. It's a talent. It's a skill I do not have. I've tried and I just can't do it. I'm not loose enough. I gotta stretch out more. Probably just kick more. But that has been my week so far. Thanks for listening. Thanks for paying attention. And I've got a couple big videos I'm going to be dropping here in the next day or two. So make sure you keep following along, liking, and talking. If you want to see anything specifically while I'm out here, put it in the comments, and I'll see if I can't do it. I'm going to get my hair cut done in the next few days, and you're going to see Spawn Sam come home with that title. Thanks for watching, guys.